Greetings, everyone. This is Curtis Duncan, and I wanted to do a video today on the dangers of feminine hygiene products. I know those are popular products here that many women use on a consistent basis, and they're very, very dangerous. Actually, they're extremely toxic. And most women are just totally, they don't know this because the corporations definitely do not want to tell you how dangerous some of these feminine hygiene products are. Specifically in this video, I'm going to talk about tampons and sanitary napkins. Now, one of the worst things about tampons is that they contain dioxin. And dioxin is actually a chemical warfare agent. Dioxin was found in Agent Orange, which was an herbicide that the United States government used to spray all throughout Vietnam, ended up killing close to about 200,000 Vietnamese people and maiming close to 1 million. And dioxin is found in tampons. The reason why is that whenever you bleach any type of fiber, then it creates dioxins. So the fact of using, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be using bleached tampons which have been bleached, then those are going to contain dioxins. And dioxins are a chemical that is linked to endometriosis because it mimics estrogen. It is linked to breast cancer. It is linked to fibroids. It is linked to obesity. And is linked to type 2 diabetes. So you definitely want to avoid using any type of unbleached. You definitely want to avoid using bleached tampons. And I really don't recommend tampons for the simple fact that you're inserting something into the vagina when you really want your menses and your blood to flow down rather than kind of stop it up. So that's the reason why I don't recommend any type of tampons. But if you are going to use them, you definitely want to avoid using bleached tampons because, as I mentioned, those contain dioxins. They also contain oftentimes rayon, which is a fiber that is linked to toxic shock syndrome, which is a condition actually which can kill a woman. And many women have died from using tampons for using some of these synthetic fibers. So definitely, go for the unbleached tampons. 7th Generation makes a good brand. Natricare makes another brand, and make sure it does not contain any type of synthetic fibers. But also beyond that, you have the sanitary pads, which are usually made with cotton. Sometimes they're made with plastic, and of course the plastic is always going to contain phthalates or some other different estrogen mimicking chemicals such as bisphenol A. But the actual cotton itself is loaded with pesticides, and all these pesticides are also chemical warfare agents. And most of the cotton grown here in America is genetically modified. Most of the cotton grown throughout the world now is genetically modified. That is one of the top genetically modified crops grown throughout the world. And genetically modified foods are extremely toxic foods. They're invented by corporations like Monsanto to essentially to increase their profits because they're patented crops. But they are extremely dangerous, and they're bad enough that you definitely should not be eating them. Many doctors say that people just need to be on a GMO-free diet because these are foods that have been around since 1996. They've never been tested. They have been shown to cause numerous health problems, including infertility, immune dysfunction, cancer, digestive inflammation, which leads to heart disease. But it's bad enough that you're putting them into your vagina because, in a particular case of cotton, genetically modified cotton, that actually contains, a bacteria or a substance which actually destroys, the body cells. It destroys the lining of your vagina. So when you're inserting this genetically modified cotton, which contains the Bt toxin, which again just shreds your human tissue and cells, then that's going to greatly cause damage to your vagina, and also it's going to contribute to via all the insecticides to cancer, particularly reproductive cancers such as breast cancer, type 2 diabetes, endometriosis, and fibroids, because many of the insecticides that they use in cotton are also estrogenic. And cotton is the crop that requires heavy amounts of pesticides and insecticides. About close to a quarter of the insecticides used around the world are used on cotton. So you're definitely going to use, if you're going to use pads, sanitary napkins or pads, you definitely want to avoid using any type of commercial mainstream cotton pads, and particularly the ones that are made with the plastics And, because the plastics are also going to contain the bisphenol A. So you want to look for organic cotton sanitary napkins or organic cotton pads. Those are going to be your best bet. You can also use a substance known as the Diva cup. It's actually like a cup that you insert into your vagina, and all the menses just kind of flows down into there. It is sustainable. You don't have to keep buying cotton pads, every month or so. You just actually use the cup and then clean it out. They sell that at different health food stores, at Whole Foods. So you could definitely find that particular cup in some of those type of stores. But you definitely want to avoid the mainstream tampons, the mainstream sanitary pads, because as I mentioned before, they are extremely toxic. They are loaded with those synthetic fibers, the rayon, which causes toxic shock syndrome. They're loaded with dioxins, particularly the bleach tampons, because anytime you bleach a fiber, particularly like paper, you're going to create dioxins. In the case of cotton, it's going to be genetically modified, and it's going to actually destroy the lining of your vagina, because the cotton is oftentimes made with BT. It's BT cotton, which means that it contains a toxin, a bacterial toxin, which actually causes your human cells to explode. And furthermore, it contains the insecticides too, which again are linked to many different types of health problems for women. So you definitely want to make sure that you're using safe products for your most intimate areas. Because that is one of the reasons why the unsafe products are one of the reasons why so many women have fibroids, endometriosis, and breast cancer, because of all the different toxic products that they use on a consistent basis. And again, when you're using something in your vagina, whatever you put in your vagina is going to go straight into your bloodstream. So there is no defense mechanism at play here at all. So you definitely want to use the organic sanitary pads and unbleached tampons. Again, I don't recommend tampons. I think it is safer to use the sanitary napkins and pads or a Diva cup instead. So thanks again for watching my video. Please share it. Like my YouTube channel. I also have a recording called Live Fibroid-Free. For those of you who have fibroids or maybe even endometriosis and just looking to learn more about reproductive health and women's health, has some awesome information on there on curing fibroids, but the information will also benefit women who are looking to prevent breast cancer and other types of reproductive problems. So I'll post a link for that down below, along with a link called Harm by Hormones, How Estrogenic Chemicals Harm Women's Health. So you definitely want to check those two recordings out. I'll post links to those two excellent and very, very informative recordings down below. And thanks again for watching. Take care and be well.